I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, thank you, and welcome to the South River Board of Education Reorganization Meeting of January 2nd, 2025. In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Laws of 1975 of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the South River Board of Education was provided in the following manner. On December 4th, 2024, the notice was delivered to the office of the South River Borough Clerk and posted at the Board of Education Administration Building. On December 4th, 2024, the notice was faxed, mailed to the following newspapers: Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger. On December 4th, 2024, the notice was posted at the South River Borough Clerk's office. Mr. Rosa, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Bazak.
Here.
Mr. Budson.
Here.
Mrs. Bush.
Here.
Mrs. Byrne.
Here.
Mrs. Lau.
Here.
Mr. Nielsen.
Here.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Here.
Mrs. Young Yao.
Here.
Mrs. Urbanik.
Here.
Have a call.
Thank you. So tonight's meeting is to reorganize the Board of Education. It is the time and place provided by statute for the installation of our newly elected and re-elected board members and for the reorganization of the board and to transact several items of business. At this time, though, first we are going to appoint our board secretary, Mr. Rosa, as the temporary chair.
Thank you, Mr. Urbanik. On the agenda, under 3.2, you will see the results of the November 5th school board elections for your review. And the next item of business is the installation of the new board members. And we will begin with Renee Bush.
She's like, wait, what do I want?
Then you repeat after me, all right? I
I, Renee Bush,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and that I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and this state
and this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I
I, Renee Bush,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of member
for office of member
of a Board of Education,
of the Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter
and that I'm not disqualified as a voter
pursuant to RS
pursuant to RS
19:4-1,
19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified,
due to conviction of a crime
nor due to conviction of a crime
or offense listed in
or offense listed in
NJS
NJS
18A:
18A:12-1,
12-1, and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties of that office
perform all the duties of that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Inside there, you take this out. Our next member is Lisa Byrne. You will repeat after me, all right? I
I, Lisa Byrne,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments
and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and this state,
and this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I
I
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of member
for the office of member
of a Board of Education,
of a Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter
and I am not disqualified as a voter
pursuant to RS
pursuant to RS
19:4-1,
19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to conviction of a crime
due to conviction of a crime
or offense listed in
or offense listed in
NJS
NJS
18A:12-1,
18A:12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of that office
perform all the duties of that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Next, we have Nicole Sadowski.
That's a good idea. I think we should get one. Okay.
You repeat after me, okay? I
I, Nicole Sadowski,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and that I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and this state
and this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I
I, Nicole Sadowski,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of member
for the office of member
of a Board of Education,
of a Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter
and that I am not disqualified as a voter
pursuant to RS
pursuant to RS
19:4-1,
19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to conviction of a crime
due to conviction of a crime
or offense listed in
or offense listed in
NJS
NJS
18A:
18A:12-1,
12-1, and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and unjustly
perform all the duties of that office
perform all the duties of that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. I will now perform a roll call of the new board. Mr. Bazak. Mr. Butson.
Here.
Mrs. Bush.
Here.
Mrs. Byrne.
Here.
Mrs. Lau.
Here.
Mr. Nielsen.
Here.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Here.
Mrs. Young Yao.
Here.
Mrs. Urbanik.
Here.
All right. Our next item is our election of the president. I will be asking for a nomination, and we'll do a roll call vote, and the nomination will be voted on as they're nominated. All right. So do I have a nomination for board president?
I nominate Cynthia Urbanik for president.
Second.
Okay. Sorry, give me 1 second. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I will close that item and we'll go to the vote. Mr. Bazak?
Yes.
Mr. Butson?
Yes.
Mrs. Bush?
Yes.
Mrs. Byrne?
Yes.
Mrs. Lau?
Yes.
Mr. Nielsen?
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Young Yao?
Yes.
Mrs. Urbanik?
Yes.
We have our board president. I will now give the meeting back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Rosa. At this time, then I'd first like to thank the board for nominating me as the president to run the meetings for another year. I think we do have a great board where we all participate. No one person heads it, and everybody does have an equal say. And if you ever find that to be different, please let me know. I would greatly appreciate that. At this time, now we are going to accept nominations for vice president. And as explained by Mr. Rosa, the nominations will be voted on in order of nomination. Do I hear a nomination for vice president?
Kevin Nielsen?
Second.
We have a nomination for Kevin Nielsen, and we have a second. Are there any other nominations for vice president? Then those nominations are closed. Mr. Rosa, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Bazak?
Yes.
Mr. Butson?
Yes.
Mrs. Bush?
Yes.
Mrs. Byrne?
Yes.
Mrs. Lau?
Yes.
Mr. Nielsen?
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Young Yao?
Yes.
Mrs. Urbanik?
Yes.
You have a vice president.
And I'd like to ask our vice president if he has any comments to offer at this time.
I'd just like to thank the board for, putting me in this position again. I have to agree with President Urbanik. We do work well together with the leadership from Dr. here to keep us going. I really think there's a lot of improvements that we've made over the years, and that all stems from the leadership at the top with Dr. Zurcher, and I'm just happy to be here. Thank you again.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is to establish our pre-meetings and monthly board meeting dates and the locations. So the location, of course, is here at the high school in our auditorium. Everybody did get a copy of the meeting dates. Are there any conflicts or comments on those meeting dates? Okay, seeing none, do I need a motion? I need a motion for that? And I would like to now have a motion on the
Nielsen.
board meetings.
Nielsen approved the board meetings for 2025.
We have a motion by Vice
Second.
President Nielsen, and we have a second by Ms. Lowe. Once again, any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. The meeting dates are established. Thank you. that was, oh, did I miss that?
Remarks.
And at this time, we are going to go back to our new board members and ask for the remarks. I missed number 3.7. My apologies. So we are going to start alphabetically. Ms. Bush.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the community for supporting my reelection. For the past 10 years or so, I've been on the Board of Education, and we've made great strides in our academic and school goals to the facilities as well. And I'm looking forward to working with my fellow board members, administration, and the community as we move forward. So thank you again.
Thank you. Ms. Byrne.
Hi, everyone. I just want to thank everybody for your support. This is my second reelection. I had an unexpired term and then reelected twice, and just looking forward to working with everybody in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service and time. Ms. Sadowski.
Thank you. Very thankful to be part of this board. I do feel that the 9 of us, with the guidance of Dr. Zurcher, really do work to ensure the academic success of our students in the South River School District. I would like to thank my husband and my daughters and my family for their continued support, and I look forward to seeing what we can accomplish in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sadowski. Again, thank you, board members, for your years of service. I think, Mrs. Bush, you mentioned 10 years.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah. You have 7, you have 6, Ms. Byrne and Mrs. Sadowski. That's a lot of years of service, a lot of time that you spent up here and given to the students of this school district. Thank you very much. The community thanks you. I thank you. Okay, now we are going to then move on. Sorry about that once again. To the board committee chairpersons, vice chair, and members. I believe everyone did get the list in email. The chair people and the remain the same. I believe there was one change to a vice chair and just a very few changes to the members of the committee, trying to accommodate everybody's preferences. So we'll see how this works for this year and get some things done as always. Next item on our agenda is we have a use of facilities. Mr. Rosa, would you tell us about that, please?
So we have 2 tonight, number 675 and number 676.
Board members, do you have any comments on these use of facilities or questions? Seeing none, is there a motion on the use of facilities?
Move the use of facilities in accordance with board policies.
There is a motion by Vice President Nielsen. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mrs. Sadowski. Again, if there are no questions or comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The use of facilities passes. At this time, we do have an item under finance. I'm going to turn it over to our finance chair, Ms. Lell.
You mean this one?
You missed 7.
You missed one. Superintendent.
Number 7.
7 I have is finance.
Oh, no. 7 is superintendent.
Okay, then at this time, I will turn the meeting over to the superintendent of schools. So that's what happens when you get emails at 4:10 and I left work at 4 p.m.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Urbanek. I just want to begin by congratulating our board and our board president, our board vice president. As a school leader, all you can ask for is a board who is student-centered, and this board really exemplifies that quality and that characteristic. I think you've done great work together, and I really look forward to everything else we have to accomplish. Also on my superintendent's report tonight is item 7.1, which is an addition and approval of a confirmed HIP. And so ends my report for this evening, and we are off to finance item number 8.
Do we need a motion on the superintendent's report
Yes.
and the confirmed HIB?
Motion to approve the superintendent's report.
Motion by Vice President Nielsen,
Second.
second by Mrs. Bush. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, at this time, Mrs. Lowe, would you please give us the finance item?
Thank you so much. So the Finance Committee, after review of all items on this month's agenda and upon recommendation of the superintendent, recommends approval of the item 8.1 with additional item 8.2 on the agenda as listed, including routine items. And that is all I have to say.
And are you making that as a?
Yes, and I so move.
Thank you. Do we have a motion by Mrs. Lowe? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice President Nielsen. If there are any questions or comments on these two finance items?
I have a comment.
Yes.
As you see, there's going to be a new scoreboard up at the baseball field, constantly making improvements. It'll be, if you read, we had to get a new one because these are so old you can't get light bulbs for them anymore. So this coming baseball season, we'll have a new scoreboard, and hopefully we'll have a winning season. That's all I have, Dr. Madam
Thank
President.
you.
Sorry.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is policy and legislation. Mrs. Byrne.
Thank you. The Policy and Legislation Committee, after review of all the items on this month's agenda and upon recommendation of the superintendent, recommends approval of the item 9.1 with no additional items on the agenda as listed, including routine items. That is all we have today.
Okay, there is a motion by Mrs. Byrne,
Second.
second by Vice President Nielsen. Are there any questions or comments regarding this? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
This item moves. Thank you. At this time, we are going to open up the meeting for the reception of visitors. We ask if the public has any concern or comment for the board that you please come to the microphone. State your name and address, and please keep your comments to a 10-minute time limit. This is on first call. Anyone from the public?
Hello, everyone. Matt DeSantis, 10 Ridge Road. I just want to introduce myself. I'm a newly elected councilman, and I will be the liaison for the council to the Board of Ed this year. So I do look forward to working with everyone. I'm familiar with most of you, some by name, some by face, some I've coached, some were at my wedding, so I have a big mix here of that. So congratulations to the new members. I do look forward to working with you guys and getting to know this process. So I'm just here to introduce myself and say I look forward to working together. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak on first call, on second call, and on third call? We will now close this public portion, and at this time, the board is going to go into executive session. So be it resolved that pursuant to Sections 7 and 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, the following subjects be discussed at a session of the Board of Education closed to the public, and those items are attorney-client privilege. It is presently anticipated that the item to be discussed in closed session can be disclosed to the public when resolved. Is there a motion?
Nielsen.
We have a motion by Vice President Nielsen,
Second.
second by Mrs. Bush. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are now in executive session. Thank you for attending, everyone.
Yes, thanks for coming. Riveting, Lena.